What's going on, Nairi? How we doing, brother? Let me know if you can hear me in the chat, please. How do we sound? Volume too loud? Volume not loud enough? Let me know. We'll give it a sec. Let everyone start rolling in here. I don't know how many we're going to have. It was supposed to be a little later, but advance comes first. What's up, Rob? Cool. We'll let a couple more trickle in. And we'll get this going. I'll upload it to YouTube so everybody can see it and watch it back. I really want to get in the habit of getting all of our Twitch streams uploaded to YouTube, regardless of what it is, whether it's Grizz doing a broadcast or anything like that, just so we have them in the bank to go back and watch or, check out. It gives us some more credibility when our YouTube is up to date. Boom, boom. And there goes TwitchBot posting the link for us. This will be interesting, fellas. I'm not quite sure how this is going to go with the coordinator carousel. I think it'll get really interesting as we start seeing some of the coordinators get some of their, trees filled out a little bit more. We might get some more elite coordinators when some get a little more full. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. We'll try to keep this within 20 minutes so I can play Ilio at 9 so we can get rolling. But all right, let's get into this here. I'm going to pull up the instructions on the screen just because that is probably a good place to start. The article we kind of went over. I think that's a good place to get into it. What's up, Ilio? Sheesh, what's that mean? Too loud? Zoom in on this guy a little bit. All right, so coordinator carousel. Oh, practice some interception throwing skills in practice mode. Oh, there we go. Very nice. All right, we got 12 or so in here and more coming in, so we'll get going. All right, so I posted this article a couple days ago. Everyone got a little read of it, and there was a ton of questions. And I don't blame you because when I was writing it, I was still trying to figure out what was going on. I had questions myself, but I just wanted to get something down. So as I'm going, if you have questions, feel free to post it. We'll go over some examples at the end. I think once we go through it one time in like the actual thing going on, I think it'll make a lot more sense. You'll kind of see how it goes. We're going to start at the bottom here. Really the reason why we're doing this. Like I said, the original idea was just too complex. It was just so difficult for me to figure out a way. I had a big chart and it just kept ending up either the teams that were winning too much were just getting screwed. The teams that were losing too much were getting rewarded or screwed. It left people who would miss the playoffs, make the playoffs kind of in this weird zone where they never really got to pick. And then we were trying to bring in like offensive stats and defensive stats. And if you didn't have enough of this, then couldn't keep the coordinator. So we ended up just to scratch that. It just was too in depth. And I thought, at the end of the day, the whole coordinator process was pretty random. And I think we should kind of keep it that way. So the wheel spin kind of adds a little bit of randomness. It still puts some strategy in it where you kind of have to use your interviews wisely. If you really want someone, go all in and go for them. If not, you might miss out and have to wait till the second turn. So kind of like Madden free agency works where you have a certain amount of offers. But in this one, it's just getting less and less. So you have to kind of use those quote unquote interviews a little wisely here. I think the X coin factor will be interesting to see. I think we're going to try to, that number will probably go up. I just wanted to, at the start, see what it looks like. But I think that's going to go up. All right, so how often will this take place? So let's get right into that to start. So like we said, we talked about it in chat, this first season, so during season 1. So this will be predicting your coordinator or getting your coordinators for season 2. All 32 users are going to go. This is just to kind of mix the coordinators up. I didn't know if they were stronger in one conference or the other. So we didn't want to do it by that. So we're just going to go once and for all, boom, right off the bat. Everybody gets a shot this time around. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be like 30 wheel spins, probably more. A couple different shows, I think, for different rounds. But that's how we're going to start, week 11, week 12, week 13. So then you have all of that throughout the playoffs to get this all finalized and figured out. And then the interesting part of making sure everyone is around to drop their coordinators and hire the right coordinators. It's going to be interesting. That's why also we wanted to get it from 32 to 16, just because that is going to be the easiest way to do it. I think we're going to try to do it like during the draft. People drop their coordinators and go sign the right guys, and do it that way, just because everyone's kind of on at that point. So the next season, once you hit week 12, you've had your new coordinators for for that season. You get to use them for the duration of that season. But the 16 users will know who is up for that season. So you might only have a coordinator for one season, and then we're spinning again. You might get to keep, you might lose them. So if you look at the schedule, so season 1, we got all 32, season 2, only 16, then the second group of 16, then all 32 again, and then we pick new group 1 and a new group 2 for the following season 5 and season 6. So this way we're just ensuring that coordinators are switching teams, coordinators are switching groups, people are having different chances to go for different coordinators, steal from different people, just so it's not the same thing, or conferences stealing from each other the whole time. This just keeps it fresh and kind of randomizes it more, what pool of coordinators you'll get to take from. I think that'll be fun. I think that'll add a little bit of, more chaos to it, which you guys know how much I like chaos. So we'll go with that. And then we're just going to kind of do this. I don't know how many seasons we're going to get in. So obviously, as we get closer to the end, we'll kind of realize where it makes sense, where it doesn't. And then at some point, we're going to kind of shut it down, and that'll be your coordinators, you finish with. We'll try to finish it, in it, so everyone knows in advance. Hey, we think we have 2 seasons left. You might want to go, gung ho and go get those coordinators you want, because you might get to keep them for the final 2 seasons, whatever it is. So that'll all come down to the timeline and how it's looking towards the end of the Madden cycle. So keep that in mind. Most importantly, if you don't want to participate or be involved in any of this, it's simple. You just don't have a shot for the good coordinators. You just sit at the end and you get to draft just like everyone else in stage 4. You get to draft whatever coordinators are left over. So you probably won't get one that has all the speed stuff, which I get it. This isn't for everybody. Some people might not want to spend X coins. Some people don't care about coordinators. Some people don't think +3 this, +6 that matters. So I totally get it. And this is just, we like to do things fun around here. You don't have to participate in Vegas. You don't have to participate in anything so this is just the people who do participate get a chance to go get those better coordinators. No hard feelings, no penalty for not participating. I think everyone should at least try it. I gave you 5,000 free X coins. You might as well use them. And then that's the other thing we talked about. So X coins, you get 5. I gave you 5,000. That at least lets you bid on some and sign an elite coordinator if you wanted to. And then, like I said, if you're just playing daily, that's handing you, at the start you might only get 100 X coins, whatever it is. But by the end, by like day 10, you're getting like 400 X coins. So I think I charted it out. It was like 6,000 a season. So even if you're just doing daily, not even playing any of the games, you're just racking up enough to continue playing the coordinator carousel every year. So keep that in mind. It's fun. I think this will be cool. So stages then. So stage 1, every user's got 5 interviews. So these 5 interviews goes for offense and defense coordinators. So if you really want an offense coordinator, you got to throw a couple wheel spins towards them. If you really want a defense coordinator, you got to throw a wheel spin or a spin towards an interview towards them. If you want to keep your own coordinator, you got to keep a spin and try to get one there. It's going to be interesting there. You automatically get a slice if you want to try to keep yours, though. So that's what we're going to do. You just have to pay the price, and I think the price we said right down there, if you'd like to try to keep your coordinator, it's going to cost you 2,500 X coins just to try to keep him, because you're paying extra to keep him so someone else can't poach him away. So that's the big thing there. And then kind of like we talked about. So the first stage, you get 5 interviews. The second stage, you get 3 interviews. Then then you have 1 interview. Those numbers might change. I might bump those up a little bit just because, especially when we have 32 users, it's going to be interesting, and I don't want to leave too many to the draft. So stay tuned on that before I start collecting people's, coordinator, their choices. I think I probably will adjust that 5-3-1. It probably will be closer to, I don't want to say 10, but it might be 10 and you can only use 5 on one specific coordinator. So something like that. But it'd be like a 10-7-5 when there's 32 users into it. So keep that in mind. We'll kind of go over that as we go. But I just wanted people to get the gist of it. So, like we said, once everyone submits who they're going for the interview, the chaos begins. There's a wheel spin for every coach who has multiple people going after them. So if you're the only one that submits, that you want this coordinator, and it all is submitted in DMs to me, I will make sure mine and bracket submissions are sent to each other before we start collecting your guys' submissions, just so we know, much like when we did the free agency spreadsheet, we don't have an advantage knowing who bid on who, so then we can just go grab a guy who has one vote or the least amount. So I'll make sure we get our votes in, or our interviews in first. Right now, I think this will also change as we get deeper into the cycle. But right now, there's only 2 levels of coordinator, just because a lot of the coordinators are the same. Some aren't built up as much, so we're just going to go 2 levels: an elite coordinator and then the normal coordinators. Coordinator will earn the elite status if they have certain boosts or combos of boosts on their coaching tree, if it's speed, acceleration, throw power. I also included ones who are kind of already far along on their chart or their tree, just because they were closer to certain things, or they already had +3 speed for corners, different things like that. So even if the rest of their trees weren't ideal, they would still get the elite because they already hit a couple of the ones this early in the cycle. So just because a coordinator is elite right now might not mean they're elite the whole cycle. If other coordinators catch up, it's going to be something we kind of look at each season and kind of see how it progresses. So we will see. I'm sure new elite coordinators emerge, other ones fall out. It'll be cool to kind of watch. So if you want the elite coordinator, or to put an interview on an elite coordinator, you have to pay the 1,000 X coins. That's for one interview. So if you have a guy you really want, you can throw three interviews at him, and that's going to cost you 3,000 X coins. And that's just to get on the wheel. So you're just putting money in to try to get a chance to get him. If you actually win the wheel spin, you pay the $2,000 hiring fee. So if you put 3 interviews in, that's 3,000 coins. Say you win, you have to pay him 2,000. So all of a sudden you're 5,000 coins into this coach. So make sure you save up your coins, because the worst thing will be if you win and you don't have enough money to pay the guy, then we're spinning again and you're getting moved off the wheel. So and then, like we said, as of right now, the coach or the coordinator who gets taken from, somebody else, that coach who lost their coordinator gets 500 X coins. If the numbers go up for pricing, the number you get back will also, it'll be relevant to that. So if we start boosting up how much you have to pay to get on the wheel, you'll get more back if your coordinator gets stolen. This is also could be something later on down the road as coordinators start to get built out a little bit and you start putting some effort into these guys. We might reward the people who get their guys stolen a little bit more with some X coins as well, just to kind of incentivize people to keep building their coordinators throughout the cycle. So you might earn some X coins that way. Let's see. Yeah, you might have noticed I've given every user 5,000 X coins. And then the daily right in there. After all the wheel spins are complete, those hirings are final. So that first stage, once those top tier coordinators, anyone who had multiple bids, are hired, you can't go after them in stage 2. So they're locked in. They can't get hired till the next off season if that coach is in the carousel again. So, and then we have the example in here. We can kind of go over it again too. And this is where I'm sure questions might start rolling in. So let's say me, Glock, J-Mo, and Quacks want interview brackets elite defensive coordinator. Me, J-Mo, and Quacks each use 1 interview, so that's $1,000 each, while Glock really likes the coordinator and doesn't like brackets, so he's going to use 2 interviews. So Glock has paid 2,000 X coins to get on here. For this example, that's what the wheel would look like. So basically we're going to have a wheel. I'll have a wheel set up for every single coordinator in advance. So then we will just roll through. This is for, Bob Stevens. This is for, Clint Dawkins. Whoever it is, boom, 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 we're rolling through them. J-Mo wins the spin. He would have to pay 2,000 X coins to complete the hire. So that'd be 3,000 total X coins for J-Mo. and Brackett would get 500 of those back for someone signing his coordinator. So that would mean JMO's done all of his other. If he use interviews on other coaches, they stay on there. So he might be on multiple wheels. And it would so when you send me your bids for your coordinators, you're going to kind of rank, your top however many coordinators that are on there, however many you bid on. So then I know if JMO wins the wheel spin for Bob Stevens, his number one defense coordinator, then I know JMO's done there. I can remove him from all the other wheels. If JMO wins his third choice and his second choice, JMO would have to take his second choice, and the third choice would be respun, if that makes sense. Like I said, once we get in there and start seeing it go, it'll make a lot more sense. I think people are overthinking this a little bit. It's really just you're throwing some money, hoping you get on some of these wheels and hoping they hit. If not, you move on to your next wheel that you're involved in, and then you move on to the next stage where you have some interviews, less coordinators to go from. So we do 3 stages of that, and then the final stage, we're going to have just a random draft of all the users who don't have coordinators, and they will get a chance to kind of draw, just pick what's left of the group. So that should be, kind of like a free agency draft. Do we have any questions as of right now on any of this? Go ahead and post in the chat if you do. I know it's still a little complicated. I think once we see it going, that will be where a lot of it will help. Let me see here. Pull up our other little database here. The coordinator database. So obviously we got the gold. The gold coordinators are going to be the elite coordinators. Like I said in my post yesterday, you can use this as a reference. Don't use this as end all be all. A lot of it comes down to what different trees the coordinators have together. So if they, if they might have a really good one for run blocking with the running back speed and a read option quarterback, and you might want to go for that one. So different combinations of trees can make some coordinators more elite than the others. I will say a guy like who is a good example? Van's defensive coordinator, Chris Wolf, has cornerback speed as one of his trees. Which you think, wow, why is he not an elite coordinator? Well, it's because the tree is already half completed, and they went to the other side of the quarterback tree. So it's kind of like, oh man, if I get all the way to the end and I keep this coordinator and I reset the coordinator which is one of the coaching tree things you can get, then you can reset him and you can start using the cornerback speed. But as of right now, he's not elite because that cornerback speed is blocked, and it would take a little while to get all the way down to unlock that. So there's certain ones like that. So that's what I'm saying. You might be scrolling up like, oh, I found the gem. He's not elite. He's got cornerback speed. Well, there might be a reason some of these guys didn't get the elite tag. So like I said, for now, we just have the elite and normal coordinators. What will probably happen as we progress through the cycle, we'll probably break into 3 tiers with like an elite, a star, and then a normal. It'll kind of be 3 tiers, which, different costs to get on, different wheels. I think that's the best way we can do that. I know JMO was DMing me a couple questions earlier today that I wanted to kind of highlight or talk about. Let's see. If I interview 5 different coordinators, all non-elite, and I am the only bid on 2 of them, auto lock, and I can pick the coordinator I prefer. So yes, you would be the winner of both, but this would come down to which one you ranked higher on your DM to me. So you'd get that one, the other one would stay in the free agency pool, or whatever situation he's already in. The next scenario, he said, I choose to keep my elite defensive coordinator and drop 5 on one person's defensive coordinator. I missed on that person's, but I was the only one bidding on mine. You still pay to keep, so you pay for all the slices on that other wheel you're on, and then you pay to keep you wouldn't have to pay to keep yours because no one else bid on that. So you just have to pay the initial $2,000 to get on the wheel for keeping your guy. So that would be that. What are the other questions I got in DM? Let's see. Rob asked, how long is the contract for a coach? The coach contract. So as of right now, it's you sign them, and then it's the next time you are back in the wheel. So the next time your group is in the wheel, that is when your coaching contract will be up. So some people might not be. Some people might get lucky and they'll get to keep their coordinator for all of season 2, all of season 3, because they don't have to spin till that group 2 spins in the middle of season 3. Some people might not be as lucky, and they might have to, they might have to spin in this first group the first time around. So it's like we said, it's random. There'll be sometimes you spin back to back years. There'll be sometimes you spin every other year, but it's pretty much set up where you have to be involved in 3 out of 4 spins. Where if we go back and look at the well, not the wheel. That's not what we want. Oh, that's, yeah. If we go back and look at this, so it's pretty much if you're, everyone's in season 1 and everyone will be in season 4, and then you're mixed in either season 2 or season 3. So you're at least involved in 3 out of those 4. So you're spinning a lot. I think that's, people were with the old system. It was if you got stolen from once, you weren't going to get stolen from again. Now we're taking all the guards off. You can get stolen from. So this is going to come down to some luck, how you're going to place your interviews around on different coordinators. And that's my favorite part, to see the different strategies people have. Is it go all out season, stage 1 and try to lock in that elite coordinator? What if multiple people go out and each of them put 5 slices on the same coordinator? All of a sudden we could see a wheel with 60 different pieces, which that is going to be insane to see. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun when we start to see these coordinators really develop and start, people start filling out these coordinator trees. Because at some point, when people fill up their head coaching tree, they're going to have chips and they're going to have to spend them on somebody. So it'll be interesting to see if people are holding those and banking them for when they get their stud coordinator. It's going to be a cool little process, I think, there. The wheel. Let's go ahead and go to our wheel. Boom, boom. So the wheel will just be like this. Obviously, this is just the test wheel we had. We could put as many in here as we want. I finally was able to find a wheel we could color code and throw some red and black XCFL colors on it, which is nice. The other one we did would throw some ugly colors in there, and it was not able to. But we can throw as many as we want in here, which is nice. Spins just like our other wheel does. It gives us who's on it. Oh, look at me. I'm the winner. Cool. But I think this could be something that will really make this fun, because I know a lot of leagues out there are struggling to figure out what to do with their coordinators. A lot of them are banning upgrading coordinators, where you can't upgrade past tier 1, which is an idea, but then you're just keeping so many points locked in, and then you have to police that, and some coordinators start above tier 1. And if you upgrade, you can't. You just want a fresh Elser by the LA Rams on that wheel. Yep, I hope so. We're going for that. We're going for that top pick. Yeah. So I think if you, it's just a lot to police if you do that. So I think this is just a fun, random way, rather than just saying, "Hey, you're stuck with your coordinators," which is kind of what we have with scouts right now. Just because scouting, we can't see the scouting screen. At least we are able to see the coordinator screen, so we can go through and you can look at the other person, see what they've been developing. So I think that'll be cool. What was the other question in DM? Let me see. Oh, Rob, I forgot to answer your question about Twitch the other day, but I'll get back to that. Yeah, Van sent one kind of regarding his coordinator. When you sign a new coordinator, you don't have the ability to reset the tree. When you sign a coordinator, their tree comes as is. So you just got to know, like I said with Van's coordinator, if you go after the coach that is locked out on cornerback speed, there's no switching that unless you get all the way down one of the head coaching trees, I believe it is, where you can reset the tree. So keep that in mind when you're bidding on some of these coordinators. Then throughout the season, so all coordinators are final throughout the after we do our draft. So in stage 4, And then it would come down to, there's only 4 extra offensive and 4 extra defensive coordinators. Or 3, sorry, there's 3 extra. So there's only 6 free agent coordinators. Whoever's left over, which will probably be some that people don't want anyways, those coordinators will just be stuck in free agency until the next wheel spin. So it'll be interesting to see if the same coordinators are always stuck, if people are mixing it up. But I'm looking to build off this process as much as we can. I think this could be a cool little game we kind of play. And really, it's going to be a show of wheel spins, is what it comes down to. We're just going to run through spin, stage 1, spin, stage 2, spin for 3, and then stage 4 will be an offline. I'll do the order of the draft on stream, but then we'll end up just taking it offline where you can look online. And you have an hour to make your pick, and then it goes to the next guy and the next guy, and then we'll get all the coordinators figured out. Like I said, once we get to the off season, that's going to be the tricky part, trying to get them all signed. Because I did not go through and see if we can just release all the coordinators and everyone goes and signs theirs. So that will be a fun game to figure out. Who knows, maybe all this is for nothing and it's just a horrible process, and that would be no fun. If that's the case, everyone will get their original coordinators back, and we'll go from there. Sorry about that. But outside of that, that's all I really have for this. I don't think, we got some questions, a lot of confusion in chat, but not too many questions outside of those couple there. What it really is going to come down to is making sure you got enough X coins to bid on them. So maybe it's not spending all, 20,000 X coins when you get to the 20,000 limit like you see, or maybe you don't care about coordinators at all and you'll spend your X coins to develop your players. And, from there, then you'll just, either grab some in the free agency draft. So what I'll say now, me and Brackett will figure out who we want to go after probably tomorrow. I'll let him know to start looking, figuring out who he wants so he can send it to me. I can get mine figured out so he knows who I'm going after. And then we'll open the floodgates where the DMs can start coming in. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a Google sheet, Google Forms, where you just DM or you just submit that with your name, who you want, or if it's going to be in a DM. But it's just going to be basically you'll DM me and be like, hey, these are my 5 interviews. I'm using them on 2 on this guy, 1 on this guy, 1 on this guy, 1 on this guy. And then, for stage 3 or stage 2, obviously, we'd have, another break, and then you'd have to submit who you're using those interviews on. So it's going to be a couple-day process, which is why we're starting it in the middle of the season at week 2, because we're going to have to give everyone a chance to look at the free agents, or the coaches. So it is a good idea to go through and rank your coordinators how you want them, 1 through 32, or 1 through 30, whatever, 35. Just so you can start crossing off which ones are gone, and then you'll know, okay, my interviews are going on this guy, this guy, and this guy. And like I said, the coordinators aren't changing too much outside of some are getting upgraded a little bit here and there. So once you make a ranking one time, you can pretty much use that same ranking for the rest of the cycle, unless guys get upgraded, people get reset, that kind of thing. But that's kind of further down the road. I think the biggest thing here is going to be picking out the coordinators you like. And then once you see the first stage 1 in action and you start seeing people lock in certain coordinators and you're losing out on coordinators and different things like that, it'll make a lot more sense how this is going to work. At the end of the day, the most you'd be able to spend on a coordinator, if you took all of your wheel spins, so you took your five interviews, that's 5,000 X coins on one guy, and let's say you also won that, so that'd be 7,000 X coins. Which is kind of, I'm trying to limit how many people are going to bid on all elite coordinators. Maybe you have some other guys down there that if you miss out on an elite coordinator, you're throwing one in on, a 4th guy that you're hoping you grab. But it's going to be interesting when we start seeing how it goes, because then you might want to save your coordinator, which is 2,500 X coins. So that's the one thing. The other question I had. So you technically, if you choose to save your coordinator, it's a 6th interview, but he's already your coordinator, so you don't have it doesn't count as one of your 5 interviews. So it's not a free interview, but it's an extra interview. So everybody can choose to save their coordinator if they want to, but not everyone will. But you still have to pay that $2,500 or 2,500 X coins to be able to have a chance to save your coordinator. And then that's the other thing. So say you really want to save your coordinator, you can pay the money, the $2,500 to get a slice on your guy's wheel, and then you can also use your own interviews on your coordinator's wheel. So if you really like your coordinator and you think you're going to get a ton of bids on them, you can use your slice you get for paying, and then you can use all 5 of your interviews to save that coordinator. So you would have 6 slices on your wheel to go with. Who knows how many other people are going to go after some of these top guys. So use it wisely. If you have questions after this, obviously feel free to have my DMs. We can kind of walk through this. If you really have questions, JMO sent me a bunch. He was like, "These are my scenarios. What's it going to look like?" And I just kind of walked him through what that would look like for him if that was the way he wanted to go. So I think it will be a lot easier once we kind of get rolling through it and you see one. But if we don't have any questions in the chat, I think we're going to go. I'm going to get this game with Ilio kicked off so we can get an advance going. And then, like I said, you can just shoot me a DM with any questions you might have. I think this will be fun. I think it will be interesting, and I think it gives everybody a chance to experience some of the cool coordinators that are out there, rather than the scouting thing sucks because you grab your one scout and you stay with it the whole time, and that's just no fun. That's boring. This is at least giving us a chance to mix it up a little bit, and I think it'll create some interesting strategies and topics throughout the season, and then you can look forward to. Maybe you get the coordinator that has +3 speed for corners. Maybe you'll go make some moves in free agency this offseason that you don't have to have the fastest of corners because you get that +3 speed. Or, throw power quarterbacks. You might be able to roll with somebody you didn't want to roll with at 89 speed because they get +3 that'll get them up to, 92 or whatever it is. So, just some strategies to keep in mind. I think this will be fun. Don't quote me on that because a lot of my ideas I just throw at the wall and hope they stick. But that is it for me. I've talked enough here. If you have any questions, hop in the DMs. And thank you, fellas, for tuning in. Let's go ahead and make this one of the new staples here in the XCFL. But thanks for tuning in. This has been an episode of Commissioner's Take. This is Nick, and I am out of here.